Princess strap up in a price. We I want to go on from campus. Young people are going hard from campus. Come on, tell me back one. Campus connection, yeah, and that's a one now. Walk on from campus. How we are carry lot from campus. Come on, tell me back one. Campus connection, yeah, and that's a one. Hey, so make us again listen, let me tell you this. Students, I will make we do this. Oh yes, we create this space just for you. Make we talk about you, make we talk about school, government, and politics, sports, academics, anything that concern you. I don't know when love pass through. It's all about the classroom. So tell me back one from campus. Youths are going on from campus. Come on, tell me back one.
Woo!
School is in session and so is
Ding, ding, ding,
campus connection.
Wait, them still ring school bell?
I don't even know. I don't probably have a digital bell now. I don't know. I don't know what they do in schools nowadays concerning that. But we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
We are back.
Tell your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, your cousins, everybody, your children, everybody. Campus connection is back.
Yes. And it is such a privilege to be here with you all one more season. I'm Annestta, and with me, of course, is my co-host,
Johnathan, and we're here to have a good time, a good vibe. We were on vacation. You understand? We took a little break because breaks are necessary for the mind and for the body. And I know a lot of you would have been on break, enjoying your summer, and a lot transpired over the summer period. It was a very festive summer, as the young people would put it. But we're glad to be back. How are you?
I am doing well. I actually am so blessed, Johnathan, by that little break period that we had. And just coming into coming into season 2, personally, I've had quite a few of the young people that I know who did very well in CXCs. And so, shout out to all those who did CXCs, you did CAPE, and, you passed your subjects. You might not have passed everything, but you gave it your best. Shout out to you all. And we are actually inviting everyone to send in your congrats to your niece, your nephew, your son, your daughter, everyone that did well, your goddaughter, your godson.
Everybody, send in your shout outs. 876-997-3125. That is our WhatsApp line. You can also comment on our YouTube or Facebook Live, and that's at Love 101 FM Jamaica. We are live right now, and we want to see you in the comments, talking about everything that we're talking about, sending in your big ups to the different people who you want to big up concerning CXC and the passes that they would have received. Do you remember your CXC period? What was that like?
I remember my CXC period. I remember being in 5th form, Johnathan, and it's like suddenly everybody in my class just got really serious about schoolwork. Notice I say everybody in my class because it was like, I was a bit slow in catching on. But I eventually caught on, that now is really the time to buckle down and start studying. But yes, I remember that period. There's like a hush over the whole 5th form and 6th form block. It's like you don't hear loud commotions anymore.
Yeah. Serious time.
The library is filled with students, and you're like, what is going on? But
wow, amazing.
What about you?
I remember in all honesty, it was closer to the actual CXC period that person started to really get serious. SBAs and all of that, staying back at school, trying to get the SBAs finished. I remember one particular class, we stayed in the classroom together and we made sure that all our SBAs were finished. And I thought that was a beautiful moment. Like, it was a nobody will be left behind type of situation.
You're in this together.
Yeah, so if you fail, it's really what you go and do on the actual paper that would cause it to fail, because everybody helping out each other and all of that. And it was just a beautiful experience, And we had I wouldn't say a good time, but memorable. I'll use that
Yes.
word. Memorable
Yes.
time.
It certainly was. So, Jonathan, what do we have coming up in today's show?
Wow, it's the first show. We're coming out, we have some heavy hitters for this
All
show.
right.
We want to, as much as possible, connect or reconnect rather with our listeners. So we have Creative Block on a roll. Let's talk about it. Hashtag trending. I chose Christ, you should too. And of course, education news and bulletin.
Yes, yes, yes. We do have all of those things. So make sure you're staying with us. You stick and stay right here on Love 101. And we want to start out, of course, with let's talk about it. We want to dive into Jamaican teachers and the classroom. We want to know what exactly is contributing to teachers leaving from one school here in Jamaica to another school here in Jamaica, and
Mhm.
what also causes them to migrate to other countries outside of Jamaica. What is causing all of this? And our guest for that segment will be Miss Lasagna Harrison, president of the Jamaica Teachers Association.
Boy, I am looking forward to that conversation because I do realize that a lot has been happening, especially as relates to our teachers, and we just have to be prayerful concerning that. So I'm really
Mhm.
looking to listening to what is actually happening and to learn more and to see possibly how we can help. Because
Mhm.
a lot of
Mhm.
persons want to talk about the problems, but when it comes down to
Right,
the solutions, they want to shy away.
right, right.
Right. But let's hear the education news and bulletin. What's happening in the news, Annestta?
All right. So, education news and bulletin. And just give me 1 second. Okay.
Not a
Edu-
problem.
education news and bulletin. So, we have, hold on, give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. See, a little rusty, vacation does that to you sometimes.
No, don't tweet, don't tweet, don't tweet.
Oh boy.
Wait. So here's our education news and bulletin. And the ministry, this is for, of course, September 13th today. The Ministry
Mm-hmm.
of Education and Youth is to spend $2 billion on textbooks this academic year, of which 1 billion is for primary schools and 1 billion is for high schools. Wow, that's a
Mm,
lot of textbooks.
it is.
That's a lot of textbooks. Portfolio Minister Honorable Favor Williams made the disclosure during the sitting of the House of Representatives on September 6th, and textbooks will be available in the usual hard copy and ebook format. She informed that the ministry has worked with the principals in the schools to determine the mix of text versus ebook format. Distributions have begun and will continue to the end of September. For the ebooks, the students will only need to download the book once and will have it on their device for the entire year, Mrs. Williams said. Regarding dress and grooming, the minister said an initial consultation session with principals has been held about the vexed issue of dress and grooming in schools. And I quote, "We implore our parents to ensure their children obey the school rules. If our parents desire a change in the school rule regarding dress and grooming, these changes are done by a standard process," end quote, Mrs. Williams said. Teachers across the island are recommending that a campaign be implemented focusing on the importance of education to the society in an effort to increase stakeholder participation. They are also advocating for parents, youth, and communities to recognize themselves as key partners in the sector's improvement, as well as their child's academic success. These were part of the main conclusions in the National Teachers Consultation Report, which was carried by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, in partnership with the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The report saw over 900 teachers participating across 6 consultation sessions, with 53.3% from the early childhood sector and 46.7% from the primary and secondary or special education sector. Of this amount, close to 30% were from urban areas and 66% from the rural areas. The report was commissioned with the aim to engage teachers in their in depth knowledge of the education sector and to also let their voices be heard. Students must not be denied access to classrooms and school resources because of unpaid fees, says Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Speaking at a recent education town hall meeting at Jamaica College in St. Andrew, Prime Minister said some public schools are charging parents exorbitant fees which are exclusionary. Mr. Holness said students from low income households should be able to attend school without feeling discriminated against due to their guardian's inability or ability to pay. And scores of students at the Jeffrey Stewart High School in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland, were on Monday morning locked out by the school's administration and left roaming the streets over alleged violations of the institution's uniform guidelines. Emily Lawrence Ricketts, the principal of the currently embattled Godfrey Stewart High School in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland, is denying reports that students were barred from entering the institution due to alleged issues with dress code violations. From as early as 7 a.m., the students and their parents stood militantly outside the school compound in loud protest over the decision to lock the front gate and keep the students out, reportedly because of concerns that the girls' uniform skirts were not long enough and boys' pants were not properly fitted. But in a brief interview with the Gleaner, Lawrence Ricketts said she was unaware of what transpired and that she only learned of the situation after being informed of an online publication about the matter. And that's all the news we have for you today inside of Campus Connection. Now we're going to honor roll.
Yes, yes, yes. You know, this is one of my favorite features in Campus Connection where we get to highlight some amazing students. And one such student today is Miss Kyla Calvert. I hope I got that correct. She's the outgoing head girl at the Convent of Mercy Academy, and most of us know that school as Alpha. She boasts 7 grade ones in CSEC and a 2, also 3 grade ones in CAPE Unit 1 and a 2, and most recently 4 grade ones in CAPE Unit 2. In grade 6, several teachers expressed concerns regarding her inability to perform at the required level and recommended that a learning assessment be done to evaluate her readiness for the grade 6 achievement test. Look at God.
Wow. And upon completing the learning assessment, the results showed that she was unable to perform at the required standard. And so this meant she had to be given additional time in completing her GSAT exams. Today, Kyla holds 16 subjects and is currently a freshman at the University of the West Indies, Mona, majoring in software engineering. Wow. Welcome to the show. Please pronounce your name for all of us.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is actually Kyla Calvert.
Kayla.
Yes.
Kayla.
Ladies and gentlemen, her name is Kayla. Not Kyla, not
Kayla.
Not Kayla, not
Kayla.
Yes, it's Kayla.
Okay.
I will not forget that.
Yes.
Awesome. So, first things first, who can you say has contributed to your journey the most?
The most?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the most,
yes.
I would have to give it to my parents. Peter and Elizabeth Calvert, they have contributed immensely to my education, because one, they have funded it, and also with the support, as you read, I wasn't the brightest in the class, and so that was something that they had to, learn, because I wasn't the first child. So, they would have adjusted to something with my older sister Cameron, and would have had to adjust to me because I wasn't as fast
Yeah, man, you come
as
switch
my
up the thing
sister.
on them.
Yes, so I switch it up on them a little, so they had to adjust. So I have to give it to my parents 100%. They are my number one supporters, and they have contributed to my education a lot. So I have to give it up to them, and my sister, who always encouraged me to do my best, even if I wasn't as good as her just when I was just starting out. But she really encouraged me to push for the start, because the sky is the limit.
Nice, nice. Question, Kayla. Your father is Pastor Calvert?
Yes, Pastor
Okay.
Calvert.
Small world.
Small
Small
Calvert.
world.
Yes, Pastor Peter Calvert from the
Interesting.
Pentecostal Redeemed Church of
So,
God.
how has that been though?
Well, actually, before we get to that question, Johnathan, let's just go for a quick break
Yes,
and
yes.
we'll be right back.
We are family.
I'm Siobhan Blair, Youth Ambassador for the Family Station Love 101. Young people, we are living unprecedented times, but I implore you to choose hope. Once you choose hope, anything is possible. Let's reignite the love.
You know what, sweet? The new pack Sweet Living promotion. Win great prizes.
Bedroom set, living room set, kitchen appliance set, plus TVs and monthly cash prizes.
Send in 5 new pack labels. Labels must belong to at least the new pack corned beef, new pack Vienna sausages, and sauces categories.
Below the tagline, new pack, more than just value.
Place your entry in one of the drop boxes at participating outlets or enter by mail. Time to live sweet. Enter the new pack Sweet Living promotion. August 28th to November 19th. See the press for more details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart Annestta Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Where are the campus heights? Students are strapped up in a price.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. It's a brand new season and a brand new show. And we are here with one of our guests, Calvert.
Kayla.
Yeah, man, honor roll student. And before the break, Kayla was telling us about what it has been like, being a PK, balancing school and all of that. What has that been like?
Well, my parents don't really put the pressure on me, but I put the pressure on myself, being a pastor's child, it's a lot of pressure. And so, I put that on myself because I want to set an example for the students not only in the church, but also within the community. Because for those who are, don't know my father, the church is actually is in the inner city communities of Arnett Gardens. And so, in that community, I find a lot of students, they really don't have that role model to say, yes, I would like to be like my father or my mother or my older sibling. So I would like to be that for them, right? So I put a lot of pressure on myself in achieving, not only spiritually, but also in my academics. I also set certain standards for myself so that I can be a role model, an example for those students coming up in the inner city areas to know that because I did it, they can also do it. So that's what it has been like being a pastor kid. You want to always set an example for the congregation, especially in church. You would always want to set an example for those students to say, yes, I want to be at this level in Christ, and I also want to be at that level in my academics to be a well-rounded individual. So, yes.
Have you ever, Kayla, been surprised by any of your accomplishments? Like you've looked at what you've been able to achieve and say, whoa, I did that?
100%. every time I check my results, well, not me, but whoever checks my result, because I say there are two types of persons in the world, students in the world. One who can check their results and one who cannot check their results. And I'm a part of the latter. I cannot check my results. So whenever, whoever checks my results and I see it, I'm always surprised. My teachers, my parents, my grandparents, everybody, they believe in me. But I kind of have that doubt in my mind that what if I don't perform as good as I want to or as best as I want to, and I miss the mark. But thankfully, all praises to God. I'm always meeting that mark for myself. I'm always meeting that goal that I would like to accomplish, and it's only because of God. And so I must give him all the glory and all the
Wow,
honor.
wow.
Yes.
Nice. Speaking of being a PK, so like you're at church right now, man. So
No, man, I'm actually at school.
oh, you're at school. So you
Yes.
just carry church everywhere that you go. Makes
Oh,
sense.
yes.
All right. We spoke about your achievements and you being surprised at your achievements from time to time. However, what I want to really get to understand, as we wrap, what are some of the tell us one particular moment where you doubted yourself and you're like, wow, I can't believe this actually happened based on the result.
Yes, well, that would be the first time I actually sat my CSEC examinations. We know that COVID-19 came in 2019, March of that year, and that was the first time I was actually sitting external examinations. And you learn about something, you get comfortable with something, and then in the twinkling of an eye, everything changes. And so that was a big issue for me, getting to adjust to the new normal,
Yes.
as they would say, so that really posed a challenge for me. And so when I was doing my exams, I still had that at the back of my head saying that I'm not really certain of how they will be marking the exams. It won't be the same. It certainly won't be the same as in previous years. And so I always had that doubt in my mind. So I sat the exams. For the most part, I felt confident in the results, but I wasn't sure about the ones, right? I know that I passed in CSEC is a 1, 2, or 3, but I wasn't necessarily sure about the one. So when I can remember the exact time when I saw my CSEC results, and I was in a math class at that time, and my mommy came upstairs and she said, "Kayla, you got 4 ones and 7 ones and a 2," and I was like, "Mommy, really, really?" And I was so elated because I as I said before, I always doubted myself to say, maybe, mommy, I don't know. When the time approaches for the results to come out, you say, mommy, maybe it's 5 ones and a couple twos and maybe 1 3. Keep on bringing down the standard. But when she came up and she told me that I got 7 ones and a 2, I can remember my exact words and say, mommy, me no dance, me no dance, me no dance. That was my yes, that was my exact response. And so
Yes.
that was a time in my life where I really doubted myself, but also in the end, I proved to myself that yes, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So that
Yes,
has been
yes.
something that I have always grasped. One as the head girl, I'm always telling the girls, my sisters, my fellow sisters, I miss them so much, that they can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Who strengthens you? It's not about how you start; it's about how you finish. And through Christ, as I said before, you can do all things.
Perfect. Perfect.
Wow,
Yes.
awesome, awesome.
Wow,
In
Kayla.
like one minute, can you give a shout out to anybody? In like 1 minute.
Anybody you want big up?
And
Big them up. Big them
I
up.
can big up everybody, my parents, my 2 sisters. I mentioned my parents already. My 2 sisters, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, um, Bishop Morgan and Minister Morgan. I have to big them up because without their prayers, I would be nowhere today. And so I have to big up them, my aunts, my teachers. I'm so grateful to them because I'm a very annoying student, but they always they always reply to me. They're always, helping me out wherever I fall short. So I must big up my teachers, my school. Pick up yourself.
Wow. There you have it,
Wow,
ladies and
wow.
gentlemen. Kayla Calvert. An amazing student, yet another student who is blazing the trail of excellence, or honor roll guest this evening inside Campus Connection. Kayla, thank you so much for making the Campus Connection.
Thank you so much for
All
having
the
me.
best,
Thank you so
Kayla.
much. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, take care.
All right, you too. Wow.
These students, they just continue to amaze me every single time. I don't
Every
know.
time,
Every time, without fail.
7 ones.
7 ones and a 2, and then 1 bag of ones in a cape. Come on, Kayla. Come on, man. Boy, and speaking of 1s and 2s and 3s and all of those things, remember 968-8327, 968-8328. You can send in your congratulatory messages via that line, or you can WhatsApp us at 997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. I think we have a message here.
Yes. It came from WhatsApp. It says, "Good evening to you there at Love. I want to big up my grandson, Demone, from Mandeville, who passed his 8 CXC subjects. Tevin from Mona passed 6 CXC. Pam from, what is that word?
Borough Bridge.
And to all the children, congratulations."
Yeah, man, you have to big up everybody, you know. You have to really big up everybody. Oh, we have some messages from Facebook. All right. Chantel Chevimus Powell saying, shout out to the gentlemen at Cornwall College, 11S1, 11S2, and 11E1. And 11E2. Really proud of them. Well, big up the men at Cornwall College doing the thing in the CXC.
Time for another break, Johnathan, if I'm not mistaken.
Seems so.
All right, so let's go to that break.
We'll be right back.
Me count, you count, census say all of we count, hey, you count, me count, census say all of we count, hey, we are gonna start from east, hey, then we reach our west, hey, the process easy, yo, please don't just start, yes sir. Census 2022!
The Jamaican census will be conducted between September and December 2022.
You count, me count, census, all of we count.
Hey man, it's National Suicide Prevention Month, and the program designed for men, hosted by men with guests who are men, will explore the things you need to know about men and suicide. What are the emotional signs of suicide? Are they different from that of a woman? Why do men commit suicide more than women? And are our men more depressed than our women? So be sure to join the mailbox this Wednesday, September 14 at 5:30 p.m. with host Courtney Morrison and the suicide expert Donovan Thomas, CEO at Choose Life International, as they discuss the silent crisis, men and suicide. The mailbox is sponsored by Switch Company Limited, your electrical, solar, and lighting people. The mailbox happens every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. right here on Love 101, the family station.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
Grace, celebrating 100 years of taste that moves you.
The time by Grace Foods is...
All right.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Boy, it has been a show and a half, and we're not even at the half mark as yet. But if you're just joining us, welcome back to Campus Connection. Earlier on, we spoke with Kayla Calvert. She is one of our honor roll students, and it was a beautiful conversation that we had with her. And just to say to our listeners, just in case you are unable to listen to the rest of the show, you can always go back on our YouTube or our Facebook page and just look for Campus Connection, and you'll find the entire show there. Right? All right. Coming up now, it's our Let's Talk About It segment, and this topic is particularly it's something else. Jamaica teachers and the classroom. Factors contributing to teachers leaving one local school to join another, or factors contributing to teachers migrating from Jamaica. And we should be speaking with the president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Miss Harrison, and she will give us some insight as to what is really going on. Right? But remember, you can also send in your congratulatory messages to our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125, or comment on our Facebook or YouTube, and that's at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Comment on the live stream now. Make us see what is going on.
Yeah, keep our company,
Yeah.
Talk back to us.
I think we have a message here. Oh, Sonia Brown. Congrats to all CXE students that passed their exams. Big them up. Big them up.
All right.
Yeah, man. And to those who failed, next time.
Is it considered like monopolizing the show if I were to big up a family member who passed?
No, do you?
Because
it's a CXE student. Go ahead, man.
Okay, because I have my big nephew, former head boy of Bridgeport High School.
Nice.
Shamar Samuels passed all his subjects. He did CAPE, and he passed all of them. I just want to give him a big up right now. My big nephew, big up yourself anywhere you dare.
Shamar Samuels, big up yourself, and that's from Johnathan and the rest of the crew from Campus Connection. Munchi from Waterford sending in her greeting, also her message saying she'd like to big up her son Denzel, aka Kevoy, who passed all his 8 CXC subjects straight twos. So proud Munchi is of her son. And she's saying that during that time he had to study and run the business that she operates. Wow. So he was a whole entrepreneur and a student at the same time. Not an easy thing to do. So Denzel, big up yourself. Congratulations on your success in your examinations. But Annestta, what do you think about the teachers? What do you think is actually going on?
It's a very sensitive issue. So this is not an official opinion of Love 101. It's my personal opinion. But I've heard of different conditions that our teachers have had to work in, and I understand that it might not be the most desirable, especially after spending so many years studying, working hard to get this degree. Now you're in an environment where you finally get to practice your passion, but the conditions aren't so great, and just different issues that our teachers are faced with. I do empathize with our teachers, certainly, but I do have to say that I feel it for the students. I feel it because I know that I am a product of hardworking, diligent, patient teachers. And so I feel it for students who they're now forced to basically teach themselves, educate themselves, go online and learn. But yeah, what about you?
I mean, it's closer to me, because my mother is a teacher actually. And trust me, over the years I've seen her work literally right around the clock. I mean, parents sometimes calling her as the son decides to come out. They are the parents calling her I mean, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. She would be on the phone with parents trying to rectify issues and all of that, lesson plans and all of that. So, boy, I tell you, the profession, you have to be called to it. I can't put it any other way. You really have to be called to it because it's not an easy profession to be in. And I'm sure a lot of them would have been championing the cause of compensation because they really and truly don't see the quote-unquote fruit of their labor in a financial sense. Because I was even talking to some teachers and they were saying that the bulk of it is really having the knowledge that the students have been impacted. And it's just a beautiful thing in that regard, you know? So it's really something else. It's really something else. What I'd say though is that you have to do what you think is best for yourself. That I believe is important.
I believe that's important. I also believe, because I know many of our teachers, I know a lot of them didn't just get into it, certainly not for the pay, but they actually did get into it having a mindset that, okay, this is going to be somewhat of a sacrifice. And so I want to encourage those teachers who you're like, maybe I should just quit this profession and, just throw in the towel and go find something else to do. Keep on keeping on if you can.
If you can.
If you can keep on keeping on, what you're doing is valuable. It is changing the course of someone's life, and that's invaluable. And so just keep on keeping on. I want to encourage us. Don't just quit, please.
But Annestta, let me put you on the spot. Would you be a teacher?
I would be a teacher.
Tell me more.
Because I like to teach. I like to help people to understand. And I like to hang out with young people, especially young adults too. I've thought of lecturing before, but the Lord would not have it. I've been called to full-time ministry, and some of what I do in full-time ministry actually is teaching. And I've been in situations where I've had to teach people who are a lot older than me in terms of Bible courses and stuff. So I still do get
a little,
I get some of that. Yes, I get some of that. What about you?
Boy, you're right. Even though I've not been in a formal classroom, based on where I am in life, I would have had experiences and continue to have experiences where I have to teach those who are older and younger than me in different spaces. However, as relates to committing my life to teaching, I don't think that's my calling at all, to be very honest.
Why
Probably,
isn't it your calling?
I've seen, remember, I grew up with a teacher, I understand the whole mechanics and the dynamics of the classroom and all of that. And it's not easy. It isn't easy at all. So I don't think I would actually want to commit myself to something like that. So that's why I'm so grateful for the teachers who, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but even now when I see some of my teachers, I'm like, wow, you are still teaching. And they were teaching before me.
Just the other day, John, it's funny you said this. Just the other day, my grade 7 coordinator, I had to reach out to her, and she is still the grade 7 coordinator. And I'm like, you're still doing this.
Still. And it's just something else. It really does. All right, we have a comment here from Fur. She's saying congrats to Keandre McBean in Mandeville, who got 8 1s and 1 2 in his CSEC examinations. Keandre, big things that's in her, brother.
Big up. Munchie from Waterford. Did we read her? She says,
yes.
Okay.
I think we did.
Big up. Okay. Big up, Munchie.
Yeah, man. But definitely, as we said, you can send in your WhatsApp messages at 876-997-3125. Pick up the CXC students, man. It's not an easy thing at all. They did that. And we want to make sure that they understand how proud we are of them. Do you remember the actual moment that you checked your CXC grades?
It was so back in my day. What we did was we went to school because it wasn't fully online for us yet. So we went to school and they'd give you an envelope with your results in the envelope. And so everybody was like, okay, when is the day coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? And then you'd get an email or a call from your teacher to say, okay, you can come to school on this day. And so everybody's lined up at the principal's office, ready, waiting for their envelope. And you're looking, sometimes our parents would come with us, I think by the time I got to sixth form, I'm collecting my results by myself. But before you're looking at it and you're like, okay, you see some parents with their kids and they're like, you didn't pay attention in school, and they're getting a scolding like right there.
Rough. That is rough.
They're getting the scolding right there. But for me, it was a pretty joyous experience having passed all my subjects. That was a relief. I didn't get the grades as I wanted. I didn't get as many ones as I wanted. But you know something? When you get to university, nobody asks you,
hello,
how many ones did you get?
Hello.
No, I can't admit. Or when you go to a job, how many ones did you get? Nobody cares.
Because even I was remembering this evening before we came on the show, the moment that I checked my grades. At that time, I think we had dial-up internet or something like that. So it was slow. Like waiting for the website to load, and I was like, Jesus. And then the grades come up and I was like, okay, cool. All right.
This is before or after my time, because dial-up.
Let's not dive into that. Let's not dive into that.
I thought I went way back.
Else, the pressure was just and the thing is, we it makes me wonder if we put too much pressure on our students. I mean, it's good to do well. It is indeed a great thing for us to do well in whatever area that we possibly can do well in. But at the same time, we have to learn to give ourselves grace. I really do believe that is important at the end of the day. Boy, but those days, I don't know if I would want to relive them at all, to be honest.
Thank God we don't have to.
Thank God.
We moved on to college exams, which was much harder.
Let's not.
We moved on, and thank God it's all behind us now. We did it. We did well. Okay.
We did well. To God be the glory. Yes. But to all the teachers out there, though, please accept our encouragement. To stay the course if you can. The nation, we need you, and Campus Connection, we appreciate you, right?
Yes.
We here at Campus Connection, we appreciate you, and we are very, 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 very grateful for your continued support, especially as relates to the nation's children, right? I see our guest setting up to come on in, so let's talk about it segment. And we're about to talk about Jamaican teachers and the classrooms, factors contributing to teachers leaving one local school to join another, or they are migrating from Jamaica to find better opportunities, whether it be in teaching or in other career spaces. Okay, so our guest is having some challenges. So she's working that out. But in the meantime, I guess we can jump to our hashtag trending segment. And what are the hashtags trending, Annestta?
Well, I was muted there for a second. All right. So in hashtag trending this week, we have give me one sec while I pull this up.
Hashtags trending.
All right. Hashtags trending. No, it's what going today. No.
I tell you that the vacation, you know.
No.
Oh boy.
What? But yes, probably if you can.
Yeah, let me help you out. So hashtag Godfrey Stewart, hi. Hashtag dress code and hashtag protest. So, you know, school just started out. Saw it on Twitter where a number of students were locked out because they were they were not adhering to the school rules, we can put it that way, with their dress code. So they were left on the road, basically. I don't agree with that at all. I really don't, because we can't allow for our students to just be on the road during school hours like that. I'm sure there are other ways that we can enforce some amount of discipline, because discipline is important, you know. And I want persons to understand that discipline is very important. But the way in which we go ahead and curb persons, we have to be cognizant of these things as much as possible. So that is very important. What do you think?
Absolutely. And I think something key to note is just how like you said, it could be dealt with differently. We could have had them, if it's even some disciplinary action taken, but not necessarily just, okay, you can't come into school today. That is kind of crazy.
Yeah. If it's even to just sit in a classroom in silence for the entire day
and listen to a talk about how to dress properly. Something
I mean, we have to, try to find new ways in which we go about enforcing the rules of the schools, because I don't like that idea. I'm trying to think of even my child being on the road because of dress code, and it's not a good feeling, to be very honest. I was watching a video of one lady, and she was lamenting over the situation concerning her son being locked out, and honestly, I felt her pain, to be very honest, because that cannot be good at all. All right, it seems as if our guest, the issue has been rectified. Miss Harrison, can you hear us?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, sir. Are you hearing me?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. How are you doing?
Hello.
I'm good. All things considered, God is good.
God is good. God is good. So we actually strapped for time, understanding the challenges that we're having earlier, but just to get a better understanding, or seek to get a better understanding of what is going on, could you let us know what are some of the contributing factors as to why some of the teachers are leaving or have left, either to go to another local school or to an institution overseas?
All right. In schools, inter-island, in terms of persons leaving one school to go to another, several reasons. An individual may have been offered a temporary post at one institution, and a vacant post becomes available at another, as was my experience. Oh, pardon me. Good evening to you, and good evening to all your listeners and my teachers, in particular my colleagues across the length and breadth of this nation.
Okay.
So persons would have been offered a permanent post, as would have been my experience, I started out at Arden High School, offered 4 months, and then I would have applied to several other schools, and then another would have called me before the month would have expired, September, and I had to move by the end of somewhere in the middle of September there to take up a permanent position, a clear vacancy. So for that reason, persons move, and it was so interesting in the conversation, in the interview, the then vice principal asked me, what if you were to be offered a clear vacancy? Would you be leaving us? I said, well, miss, we would have to revisit the position at that time. And it was like so done. I went back to her and reiterated those very same words and said, you know, a clear vacancy has been offered to me, and I'm going to be going to do the interview. If I'm successful, then I'm putting you on alert that, you know, I would be, so you would be in need of getting someone to replace me. So those are some of the realities on the ground. For whatever reason, persons would find opportunity where it is that they feel that their skill sets are better served in another school environment, or their possibilities for upward mobility a little bit more in that school environment. So for different to go closer home. I know a friend right now who would like to be at a school closer to her home to reduce expenses, re-travel, and all of these things. And so for different reasons, persons move.
What about those who are migrating?
Yes, so when it comes down to those who are leaving the island, there are certainly the pull factors and the push factors. Our conditions here, the poor wage that we get, certainly are pushing persons to leave. The pull factors, certainly the main one would have been the wage that would certainly attract persons. You can get up to 3-4 times that which you're earning here. A colleague of mine shared the other day with me that she left here as a classroom teacher as I was, and she didn't even start getting the senior teacher pay at the time, and she would have been getting close to over $600,000 now. So she's able to clear off all the mortgage, all the debt she had at her loan facilities that many teachers do have, and she's able to maintain her mortgage while she lives over there. She would have upgraded her studies since she has been over there to acquire a master's, and looking to go on and still send her children to school and still live at a comfortable rate, you know. So those are just, so while teachers, and it is very important for us to note that people are leaving the profession globally.
So it's not just a Jamaica thing per se.
Well, our teachers are, we have a few who are leaving the profession, but we are leaving to take up teaching positions in those countries. So there is a vacuum in those countries, and they're coming in search of our professionals. It's 2 countries that they say, Philippines and us, where they seek to recruit teachers the most. So it should be instructive to our employers, to our ministry, even as they talk about wanting to professionalize the profession with this bill, that all these persons are still Asia, China, Japan, Middle East, Qatar, Dubai, all of those places, the traditional England, Canada, United States, are coming in search of Jamaican teachers. That must say something to us as a nation. It can't be that our practitioners are so bad. Why these persons would be coming in search of us and recruiting us, as even going to our teachers' colleges? So they have reached a point where they're not even only taking on more experienced teachers. They want to enter into relationship with our teachers' colleges to take our students as them drop out of college.
As they leave college, just to go right over.
Right. So
interesting.
Indeed.
Ms. Harrison, as president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, what are some of the solutions then? What are some of the suggestions that you'd want to give to our government, give to our principals, those in administration, as relates to our teachers, and how they can rectify or try to rectify the situation?
Well, the truth is, sir, all teachers will never desire to leave. That is the truth. I have never harbored any thoughts of living anywhere else other than this nation. So yes, the pay is not as it should be, but I have a different faith level. My source is God, not the Ministry of Education. It's just a stream of income. So I will survive. The truth is, some of my colleagues really have it challenging financially, so they have to do what they have to do. Improving our conditions, the conditions under which we work, is significant, and hence my objective, my mission nationally is to start to launch a national debate as to whether what we currently expend on educating our children is really adequate. When we break down what we give to education, seems like a whole leap. And yes, it may take the biggest chunk of our non-debt expenditure, 20%, right? But what it is that we still expend, is it still adequate? When we're giving primary schools $2,500 per child, $13 per day when you break it down, $17,000 per child at the secondary, $19,000 if they're on pass, $89 per day or $100 per day, is that adequate? Even in addition to the other allowances that you give schools, such as the grant, the janitorial grant at the prime, and the maintenance grant at the primary school, $150,000 for the year. At the high school, $500,000. Even with the further support of past monies, $120 for a child who is at lower school, 1 to 3, and a child who is at upper school, 4 to 6. Are those monies still adequate? And internet provision of $18,000 per tranche, $60,000 for the year. That's for a primary school. When you get to the high schools, I won't even get into all of that. So when we look at what we continue to expend, so the government would have in recent times said that they're putting $2 billion towards purchasing textbooks. When you do $1 billion of that is going towards high school, when you divide $1 billion by 171 high schools, you get $5.8 million plus dollars. When you divide $5.8 million by one cohort of a high school, one cohort, just grade 7, an average high school that has 200 children in that one cohort. When you divide that 5.8 million, it is saying each child will receive $29,000 plus to purchase text. Is that adequate? So you really need to have a conversation, though uncomfortable it will be as a nation. If we must stop comparing apples and oranges. Say we want to be like Finland, we want to be like Singapore. What those countries spend on education far outweigh what we have the capacity to spend. So we need to say, look here, man. When we look at our reality in Jamaica, we currently have $114 billion we give to education. That was what was allocated for the 2022-2023 academic year, in addition to some other plus that is given for pass. Make it up to $119 billion in all. So when we look at that money, this is what we currently expend. Is it really adequate? And if it's not adequate, we're going to say, as a nation, we're going to command our leaders, regardless of which P is in power. This is the plan of action. Patterson report says this is what we spend, and we're saying for the next 10 years, we want to spend X amount. So we're going to say it's $5 we have now, and each year we're going to add dollars to it. And we ask in private sector, when we look at it, we cannot fund it, government.
Yes.
In private sector, can you give us $2? Diaspora, can you raise and give us $2 more in order for us? But we need a plan as to how we're going to finance education, in addition to stop the wastage and the pilferage that takes place at the different levels across government, as to how it is we are really going to eke out and create an educational framework that benefits all children. The learning condition of the child is the working condition of the teacher. Many teachers' stress would be further reduced and eliminated if their working conditions were better. And so when we look at infrastructure within our schools, providing textbooks, providing all the resources that the teachers need, because that's one of the reasons why they go overseas as well. While they get a good remuneration package or one that their families can be sustained off. They also go and work in better conditions where certain resources are provided for them as well. So if we were to treat with same as a country and also do something about how teachers are paid incrementally, I'm sure more teachers, many of my colleagues who have gone, if you were to poll them, they would rather to
they would come back
in their homeland. Yes, what we get now is really just not adequate. A teacher needs $130,000 to take home. That is what you do with that.
Wow.
Not how you pay mortgage and how you look after your children and all of these things. Even the other day when the ministry would have been providing tablets for children and so, was there any special consideration to the teacher and his or her child? You didn't necessarily have to give all of the teachers children, but you could have said each teacher would have received one tablet for their child, so they don't have to go and find that money, because if you have your children, the government gave up. No, the government didn't give us a tablet. Let us nullify that myth.
Yeah.
We created 4 tablets for our teachers from the heads of agreement, from 2017 heads of agreement signing off. The government didn't seem to activate it until the onset of the pandemic. So
all right, Ms. Harrison, thank you so much. We're strapped for time. I don't know, we're probably going to have a part 2 for this conversation. Thank you so much for making a campus connection. We really do appreciate you sharing your heart with us concerning the situation that our country is facing as relates to our teachers, and all the best for the school year.
Blessings to you and thank you so much.
Yeah, man. And that is the show for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Boy co-host.
Wow.
Glad to say yes, man. Back from vacation.
Yes.
Big up to the crew.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tony K. Bromfield, producer, Timoy Butler. Thanks to all our guests who came in, honor roll students, and of course, Miss Harrison.
Take care for now, guys. See us next week, same time, same place for Campus Connection.